Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in today. Um, Today I want to talk about my feelings on females working in male prison. Now, if you want to say men shouldn't work in female prisons, I agree. I agree. But I think it's a lot more dangerous for women to work in male prisons for obvious reasons. And those obvious reasons happen all the time. Every female CO that works in prison sees at least a half a dozen dicks every day. You got guys that'll wait for a female to walk by. I've explained this. And they'll hop right in their cell and pull their dick out and start masturbating so she can see it when perverted shit. Absolutely sick shit. And that's just the tip of the tip of the iceberg, because women, the worst assaults I've seen in prison were on female staff. Every single one of them. I talked about Miss Denny when she tried to take that guy's radio and he damn near beat her to death with that radio. She had a fake leg. She had a prosthetic leg. And he still did her like that. He sat on her chest and fucking ground and pounded her until the police pulled him off of her. You know, they respond. If me and another guy gets in a fight, whoever is in the vicinity, whatever COs are in the vicinity, they're going to be the first ones to respond. And I can't tell you how many female COs I've seen go to jump on guys, because they'll always mace you first. They'll mace both guys. They'll just spray a cloud. And then when both guys get to grabbing their shit, they just jump on you. And I can't tell you how many females I've seen get punched in their shit doing that. These prisons in Ohio are getting ready to explode. I don't know if it's a result of the way the world is going right now, because inmates get political. They don't got nothing. They try to seem like they're responsible, and then it turns into bullshit. Anybody who's been to jail tell you, guys will sit there, watch the news, don't understand nothing they're listening to, and will form an opinion and will start, and so with the way the world is right now, who knows what type of tension is in the joint. I know that CO just got murdered in Ross. And I know Ross and all them joints have been flipping. Ross and Belmont and Noble and Lake Erie and Toledo and Mansfield. And I just found out yesterday that London is on lockdown, or was just recently on lockdown. So that's a half a dozen prisons right now that are on disciplinary lockdown because they're afraid to allow all these inmates out, because they're afraid that something big is going to happen. Something big is going to happen. I feel it. I just feel it. I feel like almost like a riot's getting ready to North Central. I forgot about North Central. And I've never been in a full-blown riot, but I'll talk about the situations I've been in that were close to it. The first ever, and they're terrifying. I'm not going to get on here and pump. I can handle my own. I'm not the toughest dude in the world, but I ain't no pushover. And ain't nobody ever just walked over me. And win, lose, or draw, whoever I fight's gonna let you know they was in a fight. Like, there ain't nobody just gonna squash me. That being said, they're terrifying, because you don't know what's gonna happen, and then you don't know where shit's coming from. You're in here with hundreds of people, sometimes thousands. The first situation I was ever a part of was at Lebanon. The inmates had what they call a sit down. And what that is None of the inmates go to work. None of the inmates go to rec. None of the inmates leave the block at all. They sit down and they don't. By doing that, the prison can't function. The inmates work and run and operate the child hall and everything. So the prison commissary, everything. They do the work. They just have a staff member that's a boss. So it'd be like, a whole Walmart store not showing up. They'd have to be closed for today. Shit like that. I mean, it was just shut down. It's a sit down. And it was over food they had started serving. The Muslims was mad because I don't know. There was some type of ingredient in all the shit they were serving, and so that's how it started. And changes were coming to the menu, and there was a sit down. It was gonna escalate into a full. That the next step was a riot. They ended up dialing it back, and they ended up allowing to where Muslims could order from certain vendors to get their own shit. And that's also, I believe, right around the time where soy became mandatory. So they had another option. The second time was at Toledo, and I was actually in a riot. Not a not a not a full blown whole penitentiary riot, but my block rioted. It was one block, A3 and 4 East. And you had guys running around with t-shirts tied around their face, and it's the same shit you see on TV, man. Guys throwing garbage cans and covering up the windows and sharpening, breaking broomsticks, and it was standoffish with the police. They just had a standoff, and it was about we was getting shorted on rec. But when you see all them motherfuckers outside the block with them guns, I didn't take part in it. I locked down. I wasn't gonna have anything to do with it. But if that shit was to pop off for real, and them men were to go in, Toledo was an anomaly. I've never seen a prison like that, but there were so many female staff members there. A riot would have just been disastrous. It's loose, and plus with all the relationships between inmates and women, like, guys, I'm serious. I could think right now of at least 4 or 5 women that worked at Toledo that now have children with ex inmates, and 2 or 3 of them got pregnant while the guy was still in there. It was so wide open, like, females were getting fired. There was an example of this CO. Her name was Wendy Wright. She was beautiful, though. She was a good looking CO. I guess, I don't know if it's true, but there was rumors where she was a stripper, like a high end stripper, before and after her job at Toledo, because she ended up getting fired because that guy High C, who I've talked about, the rat, he knocked her, and after he got out, he would drop her off at work in her truck, and I guess the cameras picked them up in the parking lot kissing her off to work or whatever, picked him up on the camera dropping her off, and they fired her. But on the inmate side, it's a beautiful thing to have a ton of women there. But if you're really trying to get out of prison what prison is meant for, it needs to stop. It needs to stop. They're making prison too comfortable, and the women are at the top of the list. because they're getting loose. And because they're pushovers for the most part. I mean, you got your women that'll stand on their shit, but they still get ran over. They still get emotionally beat down eventually. And it darkens you. It changes you. I've seen it. I've seen people come into work brand new, clean as a brand new penny, and nice as hell and cool as hell, and then in 6 months be one of the worst CEOs there because they've already had enough. It taints you, man. It fucks you up. Prison, you need to think long and hard about all the scenarios that you're going to deal with before you ever consider working in a penitentiary. Because you are going to see people eat their own feces. You are going to see people masturbating all day, every day. You are going to see extreme ends of physical and sexual violence on inmates and staff. I mean, it's less common with staff. But yes, staff members do get sexually assaulted. I remember there was a fight one time in the gym, man. There had to have been 100 people on that gym floor, and the two COs that was working, Miss Souza and Miss McDonald, they had to try to get through the crowd to break this fight up. And it was just a group session. They started crying. They panicked. They hit their button to get help because they were stuck in the middle of this crowd being damn near undressed. I couldn't imagine what that felt like for them. But Miss Souza is one of the females that now have a child with one of the ex-inmates. So, and Miss McDonald ended up getting fired because she was making pornos on a cell phone in there with an inmate. So, I don't know. They were scared in that moment, though. And I could go on and on and on and on and on, man. I brought the list out. My second or third video, I showed y'all the list. I promise you, I can name 100 women that's been fired from there for sexual relations. Just that one spot. So that's my opinion on the matter, man. The world's getting crazy. They're packing our joints. And again, I don't feel no way about no immigrant. I don't care. I'm trying to make my way. I'm trying to get, my land of milk and honey. So I don't give a shit. What they eat don't make me shit. So, but they're filling up our joints too now. And make no mistake about it, them boys are dangerous. They up the violence level because, they come, shit, it is what it is. Y'all know I ain't talking out my ass. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Violence begets violence. And the higher you raise the bar, the higher your opponent's going to raise it. It's just going to, you push a man's back in the corner, man, it ain't no telling what he's going to do. And these women that work in these prisons are in danger. It's unsafe. It's unsafe to everybody involved. And I just don't get why you would even want to work. I could understand you wanting to go work in a female prison, but what reason would a woman, let that be the question of the day. Why would a woman CO, ever want to work in a prison? Why would you ever want to become a CO in a male prison? Can somebody answer that? Why a female? And don't answer the money, because the money's not good. Trust me, especially starting off. It gets good once you hit them 5 and 10 year marks and so on. But it don't start off great. Trust me, the benefits are, but the money ain't. So answer that question. What reason would a woman have to want to become a CO in a man's prison? And with that, man, I'm going to get up off of here, man. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm going to get back to y'all in a day or two. Hopefully something will be dropping tomorrow. I want to maybe start going live. I'm hoping if it ain't next week, the week after, we're going to start going live and talk about some other ideas I got. So thanks for tuning in. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Share the video. And until next time, y'all stay safe. It's the Hoodie Man. I'm out.